Okay, so this is the plug from the bike which isn't working, and what I've been told to do, I could replace it of course, but it's really expensive. I've had something from China come, but then these threads were too small. This thing was like 5 millimeters too small, so this thread. But I've also read that you can take off somehow this cap, and there's a plunger in here somewhere that should go up and down, and if you clean it, and it might just work again. So I'm just going to have a go at that. It's moving. It's not moving outwards. Alright, so that didn't work yet. Let's try if we can hammer it out. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's threaded wire.
Nice work, Mr. Fucking Stupid.
So that's the plunger. Alright. Doesn't look dirty. There's no dirt in it. So, okay. That's what's inside. I hear that. My guess is, when that is pushed in, you should get a reading. There should be zero resistance on that reader. Now I'm pushing that rod in. I'll tell you that pluck lock sound. And now we should see a reading. So the fan should click on now. So let's put this back real quick. See if it works. That's 2, all right. So it's touching the water now. Got the Gorilla Grips in. It's still got 0 ohms. Let's turn up the heat. And I'm just going to get some a temperature gauge. Ja, hebben ze. 95 graden.
Bruce and I were out for dinner. Jack dropped off the girls at the movie theater.
And I arranged to pick them up, but they never came out. I went inside, but they weren't there. And Usher told me he saw them leave the theater halfway through the movie.
It's a perfect fit. It's the same thread as the original one. There is a difference that is a 24 mil socket, bolt thingy, whatever. Okay, so I tested the sensor and it works. So when it's like at half point, like over there, so to the left of my my nail, maybe a bit back. That's where it kicks in, and then it brings it back, and then it turns off again. So I'm guessing that's working. At least it ticks on, and it gives extra cooling for if the engine gets too hot. So I actually had to manufacture my own socket. I didn't have one that was this long, so I cut one up. I put a piece of metal in between and I welded it together. So I've got a really long one now.
That's what she said.
What am I going to do with those wires? I've got no plug for this. There probably is. That will make things a lot easier. But that plug is on the radiator side of a car. And you can only get it when it's on the car. I haven't been able to find that separate. All right, I've just decided I'm just gonna take the carbs off, and then I can do this properly. So that took me about 20 minutes to get that out. It was uneventful because I'm getting used to this. Now that's the wire we're looking for, right over here. I can reach it now. So I might just undo this entire thing because I can reach it now. And then maybe I could do a plug up here somewhere instead of over here, and then just hardwire this all the way through, because I really can't find this plug right now and I really want to finish it today. So I've got some epoxy and I'm going to fill in that with the epoxy and run a wire up here to wherever it splits with the black wire, and then make some sort of plug over there. I think that's the best way for it. Now what I'm thinking is to make a hole in here, and I run those wires that are going to come from that, those fixed wires, run those through the plug, and that way I can undo it. I hope. We'll see. So there's a sensor again, and this is the plug I'm looking for. So I'm still going to search for it and see if I can find somewhere to order this, and I don't have to go to a breaker's yard or something to get it from another part. I just want to be able to order it like a complete set. That will be a lot easier, of course, but for now I'm just going to wing it. So what I've got here are replacement green and black wires. I want to keep the same color. They're a slightly thicker gauge, but I'll take it. Now I've crimped these connectors on. They're usually going to be clicked into a connector, but I'm going to stick these on these points over here inside this connector. So like in there. And I'm going to put some heat shrink over it as well to isolate it as much as I can. But as soon as that's in there, I'm going to fill this with epoxy and let it set. So that will I'll end up with this thing with a long wire on it. I was thinking to make a hole in here somewhere. Then you wrench it. How far does this go in? might work. We can get the tool in there, squeeze it in there. Now I should be able to turn this in. I don't need much, maybe like 2 turns. Let's give this a try. I think it'll work, and then use bullet connectors so I can get it through the tool for now. Maybe not the best idea, but it's something I'll have to work with for now. So let's get the epoxy in here and get some wires stuck in there. So what I've got is this. The only thing I could find. A little mixing tray here, spoon to mix it, and this double syringe thingy. Like this. Go. I think that'll be enough. What it says was it lasts for up to 120 degrees, so seeing as that thing kicks in at 95, I think we should be fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's leave that to set. So I had a look to see if I could do this without a socket wrench, but with like a normal wrench, but there's no way. You can't, there's no room there. And I've even got the carb off, so I've even got more room right now. Not a lot more, but that's not going to work. So you're only going to get this in with a socket. I could try and do it with this entire wire now, see if I can get it in. If I can, I could just choose to scoot a protective coating around this, leave it at that, because how many times should I replace this? And if I do, you're going to take things out. Your radiator's got to be emptied anyway. It's not like you do this every week or clean it every year like your brakes and stuff like that. So this should last me, well, at least 10 years, I think. Let's have a go at that. Just get this in now with these wires without any connectors on it. Get it in there and then see if I can protect this wire with with something, I don't know, tape, and then get it back into the harness, and then do this at the end and just see how long it lasts, I guess. Because as long as this thing's not faulty, there's no reason to take it out, unless this O-ring gets bad and it starts leaking. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. So skip all the other ideas I've had. I'm just going to turn this in with my socket wrench and start bringing this back to the harness, I guess. Okay, so I've got the wire now nicely taped in again. They're all protected. They come up here, and I'm going to do this last part as soon as I put the connector back in. But for now, I can put the carb back in, reassemble that, and we can do the rest up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the carb back in, get some of the other wires out of the way, and then we just have to focus here, and then it should be done. And I can have a test ride tomorrow, because tomorrow is actually going to be a really nice and warm day. Right, so I'm starting to do the wiring on these wires. I'm gonna put one of those cool waterproof plugs on it. I haven't used it before, so bear with me with this. Some stuff back, like this thing. It sits over here. Push this back in. I'm just gonna tuck this away. It should be okay. All right, so I think that's done for now. So it's a day after the mounting of that stuff I did. I took the bike out for a ride to my work and back, and then on the way back it was like 26 degrees, really warm. Came back home, nearly got there, got into slow traffic, saw the temperature rising, nothing happened. Oh man, I thought, what the hell? The sensor broken, what's wrong, why is it not working? I was really bummed out. Parked the bike at home, had a beer, had something to eat, did some other stuff for the single gentleman's ride, which is getting all that beer ready over there. But then I went back to the bike, took everything off and looked at the switch, the connector, and actually one of those things got loose. So I put that connector back, ran the bike back up the temperature here behind my house, and as soon as it reaches the middle level, the fan kicks in and it works. Okay, so the wire is all nicely taped up, these parts also, and I've put the connector, I've put it up against this thing, so with a tie rip, which works pretty good to kind of keep it secure. So that's the conversion done. If you've got a GL1100 and I think a GL1000, well, I don't know that, so I'm not going to say that. GL1100, same like this, AT81, this sensor will work perfectly. So I hope it helps you. Should be okay. Alright, so I think that's done for now. Let's put everything back together. At least start the bike first, see if it runs properly, no leaks and stuff. And what I really liked about this is that I tried to use the same color wires again, because in the end you're gonna forget this, and if you sell the bike you can't remember, you cannot tell which wire is what. And so if you just stick to the same colors as much as you can as the manual, that will help everybody, not only yourself but everybody who sells or buys the bike after you, if they do work on it. So I'll tie this in maybe later and maybe leave it because it's like covered, so it should be fine. But let's test the bike first. I'm not gonna run it to temperature, I'll do that tomorrow. But for now I'm just gonna see if the radiator is okay, if nothing leaks, and that will be basically it. And we'll see tomorrow. I'll put everything back together and then tomorrow we'll ride this to work and hopefully I get there. So it's a day after the mounting of that stuff I did. I took the bike out for a ride to my work and back, and then on the way back it was like 26 degrees, really warm. Came back home, nearly got there, got into slow traffic, saw the temperature rising, nothing happened. Oh man, I thought, what the hell? The sensor broken, what's wrong, why is it not working? I was really bummed out. Parked the bike at home, had a beer, had something to eat, did some other stuff for the single gentleman's ride, which is getting all that beer ready over there. But then I went back to the bike, took everything off and looked at the switch, the connector, and actually one of those things got loose. So I put that connector back, ran the bike back up to temperature here behind my house, and as soon as it reaches the middle level, the fan kicks in and it works. So the fix is done. I'm gonna tape in the last pieces of electrical tape over here. So these things that are still hanging, I'm just gonna put the connector and try and suspend it on this somewhere so it's kind of stable, and then the fix is done. So if you've got a GL1100 and I think a GL1000, well, I don't know that, so I'm not gonna say that. GL1100, same like this, AT81, this sensor will work perfectly. So I hope it helps you.